I've seen a lot of Australian people that have been wonderful in real estate come to the US and actually try and conquest this marketplace, and it's interesting to see them retreat with their tail between their legs. And I'm serious because, Glen and I know a couple of people, and I know a number of people that have been in this marketplace and haven't given it the respect that it deserves in order to accomplish it. And whilst I'm not going to say you've accomplished it yet, I'm going to say you are very, very close to doing so.
It looks like you have.
Perception's everything.
Right.
You should know that. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's pretty good perception.
Life is good.
Anyway, I think that one of the things I carry forward is the fact that enthusiasm trumps everything. Have you ever talked to Glen about Harcourts? Have you ever sat in front of him and had a coffee with him and spoken about real estate?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's infectious. I believe it's infectious.
Yes.
I believe it's funny that, funnily enough, and I think I've told you this before, but you may or may not have remembered this, is that when I started in real estate, I was 14 and I actually used to control the videos, the cassettes that go into the big box thing, whatever it may be. You guys might not know about those. However, I used to let them out to agents that were in our offices that we had. And Glen was actually one of the tapes, and he had a lot more hair back then. Notice that he strategically placed near the camera so it shines the light on me. So it's a really nice light. However, Glen was one of the films that was actually in the videos that was in the cabinet that I used to let. And it's funny that I used to be there, and the agents. The only video out of everything that we had Rick DeLuca, with all due respect to Rick, who's actually part of the Harcourts organisation now. There was a couple of other ones that we had as well, but Glen was the only one that the agents would actually take. They would actually write their name down on a waiting list in order to take that video, to go home and study the video that he actually put out. And I got the pleasure of being 14 and a half when I was there to actually look at that video time in, time out, and a couple of the agents were like, well, I'd like to rent that video, and I actually had it at home and I forgot it that day, so ultimately they didn't get to see it. So either way, Glen's been a symbol of the Australian real estate marketplace. Last year I believe you were top 10 in Australia, mate.
Wow.
Top 10 in Australia. I'm going to maintain that. I'm going to clarify third. However, this is a gentleman that writes $4+ million in fees. With all due respect to the United States real estate culture, nobody has an absolute scratch on this guy. Nobody can compete with him. Absolutely zero people can compete with him in this marketplace. I meet people every day of the week that do, really good fees, but ultimately I look at them and go, oh my God, you suck. Oh my God, have you been educated to sell? You've only actually sold real estate in a good market. You idiot. Either way, I think that one of the wonderful things being Australian is understanding how good this gentleman is, and if I can give you any word of advice, which you all already know, is that this guy will take you to places that you couldn't even imagine. Not to mention as well, as an organisation, I get to build the philosophy for the new year. 2020 is coming, and one of the things that Jason and I have had a privilege to talk about in our podcast recently is having 2020 on 2020, which is a play on words which I thought was clever. Really, thank you, mate. Thank you, mate. I thought it was exceptional.
There's two people clapping. That's
2020.
2 people clapping right now.
However, one of the things that I think that we all need to get around as an organisation is the fact that we are a transactional organisation. With all due respect, and I'll name some names because we're in the company of wonderful people that are all wearing our tie, is that you've got companies like Keller Williams that are bringing out their technology platform this year. With all due respect, they've spent hundreds of millions of dollars on that. And guess what? We're a family organisation that some of you have been in the same room as the people that own this company. And you know what? We don't have hundreds of millions of dollars to spend on technology. But ultimately, if you need hundreds of millions of dollars to spend on technology in order to sell someone's home, which comes down to actually bringing a buyer and a seller together, then you're an idiot, with all respect, for lack of better terminology. Secondly, is the fact that there's companies out there that are paying stupid money to individuals and companies and all of this different stuff. I was in a Compass office in San Francisco the other day that actually has the capacity to house 250 agents, and all of them have offices. I walked in there and I was talking to somebody, like they were showing me the office and everything like that. I walked through, I saw 4 agents in an office that houses 250 agents. It makes no logical sense what any of these companies are doing. So what we need to focus on as an organisation is the transaction. And what I mean by the transaction is that you list real estate, you sell real estate. You list real estate, you sell real estate. You list real estate, you sell real estate. We don't need a technology platform in order to do that, do we? No.
No.
We manage greed for a living, but we can manage it really, really well when it comes to whether it be the auction process, whether it be traditional. I'm not biased to any one of them. You guys, well, sorry, excuse me. Maybe it's a little bit. You're an idiot if you don't list options, by the way. Sorry, excuse me. However, guys, I think that we as an organisation can come down to the fashion of that everybody's focusing on the next best thing. We can focus on being a transactional organisation that focus on getting our clients the best result possible. I said this at the business owners' Christmas party, is that you can feed a seller caviar and champagne for 4 weeks, but if you don't get them the result that they're ultimately looking for, they fucking hate you.
Children.
With like a better terminology, okay? I'll say it very, 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 very passionately, okay? However, you guys are on the right path because you're with a gentleman that understands the real estate transaction. He understands the transactional organisation of which we are in at the moment. He understands that you guys can be a part of an organisation that actually focuses on selling real estate rather than replacing real estate agents. So congratulations to every single one of you that is in the room tonight and the others that aren't, that are following this gentleman. Not only because he has the Harcourts tie on, because he actually knows what he is doing. So listen to every word he says.
Good hair.
Take it on board. And we wish you all the best in 2020.
Yes.
So I want to say a couple of things. Obviously, I know that you watched my videos. Ben said he was watching my video.